Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today we're going to finish the component that we started yesterday. I made a lot of changes, so first thing I'm going to do is cover those changes before we get started with the coding. This is my first time using the new webcam with my home office setup, so let me know if anything is weird. Hopefully the picture quality is a little bit better. It should be, but I I'm getting, like, from my point of view, the audio is way off from the video as I see it in OBS. I'm hoping it's not like that for you all. Please let me know what it's like for you. And my computer is really sluggish while I'm running this. Okay, so the audio and video seem to be out of sync. I was afraid of that. Alright, let's let me see what I could do. I tried to look into how to fix that yesterday, but I couldn't really find anything that seemed to apply with what was going on yesterday with the stream. So while I'm explaining this, I'm just gonna check over on my other screen some options. Alright, it looks like there's quite a few options here to choose from on a Google search. John said, "Time for a new machine." Yeah, that would be really nice. I do have one other thing that I can try. It was just gonna be a lot of extra setup, but I can run OBS on a different machine, and then that would let my computer, that I'm actually coding on, it wouldn't have to handle all the load of running OBS. So maybe that'll be my next step. It looks like I can set an audio delay. Yeah, maybe I'll let me add an audio delay. Let me go to the settings real quick and add that in. If this doesn't work, I guess I'll just go to the coding. Let's see. Alright, audio. Stream or output audio is probably where I need to go. offset. Alright, let me see if I can add this delay. Alright. Is this better at all? You know what, actually, let me try. Can you hear me? Alright, that seems to be... So the webcam itself has a microphone. So I wonder if I switch to that, if it'll be better synced. It looks like it's still off from my point of view, but I'm not sure. Alright, so I think so I switched mics to a different mic, and I think that I just set a delay of 300 milliseconds. But I'm not exactly sure. Alright. So let me at least show you and explain what's going on here. And maybe I can try to adjust the settings a bit based on your feedback. Let me go. I'm going to adjust the settings like drastically. Alright, so in the spot where I think I can add a delay, I just added an audio delay of 10 seconds. Alright, so it looks saying the volume is dropped. Okay. I am a little bit farther away from the webcam mic. So let me see if I can adjust the volume. Alright. Is the volume any better now? Alright, just keep letting me know whether it's getting better or worse, and I'll go back to it. But for now, I do want to show you what I've done. So, I'm sure most of you remember Harshit. He's been not in the stream quite as much since I've been streaming later on, and it's really hard to watch because of the time zone difference. But Harshit gave me some good advice to use, what's it called? React Scroll? I think that's what it's called. Yeah, React Scroll. To help with handling the scrolling instead of trying to do it ourselves. And, you know, I really wanted to use what we had already used in the previous project because I thought that would save us a lot of time. But as we saw yesterday, it ended up being pretty difficult. There were just so many pieces in different places that I didn't even realize they were there. Because, number one, it's been a while since I worked on that project, but also most of that work was from a pull request, and I didn't do it myself. So, having seen the code and not actually written it myself, it just was a lot harder to try to adapt it. So I think this is probably going to be a better way to do it. So far, it's working well. So I want to give you just a very brief overview of what we've done in terms of the code. And let me make this code a lot bigger. That's pretty small. And wow, this is quite slow. I see what I'm gonna do. Actually, I'm gonna change my display. Let's see. There we go. Let's change this display. Let's get rid of this. And let's see. That looks like it's in sync. It's much better. Does that look better to you all? So I might just go with this one then. And maybe I'll just go with this for now, and then try to work out the difference. I'm gonna switch back to the normal microphone that I usually use, and so the audio will be, back to normal. Okay, that'll be something I just need to work on. Maybe after I stream today, if I have time, I'll work on getting the other computer set up to run OBS. All right, so for now, let me make some space, get rid of this sidebar. I don't need that. Yeah, Okay, John says the video is fine, but the sound is out. Works fine enough. Sound is now in sync. Okay, awesome. All right, that's cool. I think probably this laptop is just not powerful enough to handle that, and so my audio's just going to be out of sync. So I don't think I'm going to make it work with this computer and that camera. So I need to figure some other solution out with another computer. All right, and now let's get to this. I do want to show you all, maybe on one of the breaks, so remind me if you're interested, but I'd like to show you all one of the side projects that Harshit and Niki have been working really hard on, and give you an update on that, as we haven't looked at it in the stream in quite a while. Okay, so here's what we have so far. We've brought in, well, if I can click the right the right component, I'll show you what we had so far. Okay, so we imported, let me see, we actually imported a lot. So we imported all of this stuff from React Scroll. Okay, so link, events, animate scroll as scroll, and then ScrollSpy and Scroller. Just as an aside here, we are using a component called link on other pages, and we're getting that from Next. If we were to use that component on this page, we could import link as something else, and that would reduce the confusion. So we probably will do that. And I forgot to set my timer. Oh, because this, there we go. All right, so we've added basically everything where you see these blue lines. And the green line here, this is all added. So on component did mount, we're basically just setting event handlers, right? In this case, the scroll. And then we have some functions that we're not using right now, so we'll probably take out, but I copied and pasted heavily from the example. If you want to check out React Scroll, let me throw a link in here for you. Thought I had it here. I guess I don't. Let me grab the link for React Scrolls so that you all can check out this package. There we go. So the link's in there now. If you click it and it doesn't work, please try copying and pasting it. Okay. So we'll probably get rid of scroll to top. Don't really see the need for a scroll to top function on this particular page, but it's good to know it's there, because we should probably use that on the search page. And we're definitely using the scroll to function, so you could scroll to a certain element, and you can see you can set different things like duration, delay. You can even set like the type of animation. So really nice. I'm probably not going to mess too much with the type of animation, because that's the kind of thing that could get me off track for a while, just testing things out. And then, like, the grand scheme of things, it's just not that important for this one particular part of the site. Let's see, scroll to with container. Yeah, so some of these we'll have to work out and see, like, do we really need... We're only using one type of scroll, so we may not need some of these. And then, of course, when the component unmounts, we remove our event listeners. Now, in terms of markup, we've added this. I've added this div. I put in some inline styles in the div, but they're not working for me right now. So that's the first thing we're going to work on are these styles to get it in the right location. But we just have an unordered list, and then within each list item, we have that link component, not to be confused with the one we've used elsewhere from Next. This is the link component we're getting from React Scroll, and we've just set our class is active. So when we're scrolled in that particular spot, so when we're inside that component, that element on the page that has an ID of Spring, then this link is going to have the class of active. And we can attach, and I have attached CSS classes to that. Right now I just have spring and summer. Oh, sorry. But we'll end up with, all the seasons. So we'll have four links. And the only other change that I needed to make was in our container. So it's the second content container. We changed, I changed this ID. I should say I added the ID of spring. And then I added in another container below that and gave it the ID of summer, just so that we had two to work with to test. All right, so all in all, once we get rid of everything we don't need, I think this will end up being less code, and it'll be more centralized in one place. I mean, yes, we're bringing in a whole nother NPM package, but in terms of like cluttering our components, way less clutter. All right, now let me show you what it looks like. So let me go to missionary outreach. Okay, so right now I can't even see it. So something I did with the styles are really messing things up. So I'm going to inspect here because I know in the markup it's right below this. So even though we can't see it on the page, it's obviously still going to be in the same place in the markup. So that's where we're going to search for it. We'll mess with the styles a bit right here in DevTools and see if we can figure out, what to do. I think I pulled over the styles from our other project, that Resource Center project. It's rc.franciscan.university if anybody wants to check that out. And I believe it's the planning guide page, so it'd be /planning-guide. And I think we had that menu positioned. Yeah, let me make this bigger. We had that menu positioned like in our DOM tree. We had it like up at one of the higher levels. So I think that made a difference. So I'm just going to get rid of a lot of these styles right now just to see, does that make any difference at all? And we could see it does not. So the one thing that I think is messing this up is this position fixed. But if we want it to behave in the appropriate way, we need that. Sorry for the yawning. I've been having like I've been so drowsy, tired all day. I thought I was gonna fall asleep. So let me just click it just to show you. Right. So when you click it, it does take you to the right section. So that works. I did have to use an offset of -50 pixels so we could still see this because the ID is actually on this container and not on the title, because we want the ScrollSpy to detect that it's inside of this container the whole way down when we're scrolling. Otherwise, it would just very briefly have the class of active, and then once this was off the screen, it would go away. And that would be no good. All right. You know what? And Nikki says, give it a ridiculous z-index just to be sure. All right, let's try that. Let's put all these back on and then give it a z-index. Big z-index. Actually, you can see, where is it? It looks like it's putting it way down in the bottom. Let's see if we go top. See if it puts it. Yes. Okay. All right. So it needed. At least we can see it on the screen. So right here in the corner. Let me make this bigger so it'll be easier. So here in the corner we have this spring and summer. But really what we need, this is kind of odd. I don't know if you can see this, but the background color is off here. It's white here, and then it's at off-white. I don't know what's going on with that. You know what? I think the student that's working on this page brought over a bunch of styles from the HTML CSS version of the page that he did first, and I think some of them are conflicting. So there's a few areas where the styles are a little off. It's not really a big deal. We'll get that sorted out. Okay. I guess what I'm thinking is we may have talked about this yesterday. is that this menu will stay here on the page, so you won't see it. It won't go up here as you scroll. So here's how I think we can make that happen. You all please let me know if you have a better idea. I'm definitely open to suggestions. So by default, this will be positioned here on the page. So I think we can. How can we accomplish that? We'll get into the CSS of that in just a second. But then, since we already have the ScrollSpy set up, we'll just check out. There's got to be a way to make something happen, like fire off a function that we create when we get to a certain place, or change something. We got to be able to change something when we get to that certain spot. And at that point, the styles will change so that this goes to something very similar to what it is right now. So let's go back to the code. So I think we can do this. All right, if we have, oh, Niki's saying use position sticky. Yeah, is that, what's the support for position sticky? Let's check that out. All right. Well, I mean, obviously, Internet Explorer 11 is not supporting it. I'm not really that worried about Internet Explorer 11. I've told you all how I feel about it. If anybody really wants to know, ask me and I'll answer it at the end of the stream. Yeah, so I'm not going to worry about Internet Explorer 11 for right now. Let's try position sticky. And I don't know that I've ever used this before. I remember someone bringing it up on the stream before, and we checked it out, but I don't know if I ever used it. If I did, I forgot. So let's play around with it. I don't know where it went. Let's just look up what. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll get a link right to MDN from here. There we go. Whoa, polyfills. Maybe we can make this work. Alright, here's our sticky position. If you haven't used MDN before, I highly recommend it. So it's the Mozilla Developer Network. Anytime you search for anything in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and I don't know, who knows what else, the MDN article on that will probably be one of the top search results. So it's very thorough. If you're a beginner, it could be a little intimidating because there's so much information. For beginners, I recommend if if you're confused by all this, scroll down to the examples and check out the examples first. For me, starting out, and even now, the examples sometimes make it clear to me immediately whether or not this is going to work. And then if I think it'll work and I'm interested, I'll go back and read and learn what I need to about it. But otherwise, it can take some time to get through everything and try to figure it all out. So let me just go through this quickly. I'm not going to read it out. I'm just going to glance at it. All right. Let's go down to the sticky. There we go. Alright, this sounds perfect for us. A stickily positioned element is treated as relatively positioned until it crosses a specified threshold, at which point it is treated as fixed. It's exactly what we were going to try to implement ourselves with JavaScript. Okay. Which one? One is... Alright, so which one has the ID of 1? I don't see it in there. Alright, let's see. Oh, okay. I like that. That's nice. Okay. I just see that Frankie just joined us. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Don't worry about being late. All right, so let's try it out. It seems like all I really need is this position sticky and then like a value from the top. So let's go back here. And let me get rid of... That was weird. That max width is messing things up. Oh, can you believe it? It works just like that? That's amazing. Check that out. Wow. That's cool. All right, a few things that I want to try here. Okay, so when it really is position fixed, it's nice that it doesn't take up this space here. So I want to do something about that. I definitely don't want it taking up so much space. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but my phone just keeps going off constantly. Okay, I do have some work messages. Let me just check and make sure it's not emergency. Okay, there is a change I need to make. to the bulletin website, but I don't think it needs to be made until the end of the week. Alright, so no emergencies. Okay. Thanks for being patient when I checked that out. Alright, so let's see. Interesting. See you next time. Alright, so this position right's not working. Let's see if we can do it. There we go. Nice. Alright, so I know floats are old school, but in this case, a float does exactly what we want it to. So we're going to go with a float, and then we're going to put a margin right. Margin, if I can get this right, here we go. Right of 16 pixels. Okay, I always like to have at least 16 pixels here because if you can see, we have this scroll bar that shows up, and on browsers where this happens, we definitely want enough space so you could still read and click on these. I believe Internet Explorer's scroll bar is like always there, and it's big, so I know we're not really trying to support it, but something small like that I think is definitely worth doing, because you never know how browsers look too on different operating systems. So I think this scroll bar is like the slimmest one, and on Windows I believe they're a little bit thicker. All right, wow, that was super easy. I guess what's going on here? So it's not exactly working. Something happened and it's not working. So that active class is not working right. But let me check the time. All right, only about 2 minutes. Uh, let's get these styles over into a CSS file quickly. So I'm just going to copy these and we'll do position sticky. So this will be, I'm just using this missions.css that we already had. And let's none. Actually, I had that on the div, and that div doesn't have a class right now. We need to give that div a class. Let's get rid of these styles and give it a class name of ScrollSpy container. Position sticky, and then we'll paste this in. I don't have auto formatting set up for my CSS, unfortunately. I'll have to manually do that. There we go. All right, cool. I don't think we changed anything else. Let's give it a refresh just to be sure. The styles don't auto refresh, so when I change the like the CSS files. It's taking quite a while. Why is that happening? I think I messed something up here. All right, none of those errors were able to explain it. Okay, let me take a 5-minute break. I'm going to go to the live chat and answer some questions, and then when we come back, we're going to troubleshoot the stuff that I've apparently broken. Oh, okay. I didn't notice right off at the very beginning of the stream. Tova says, hello, first time here. If you're still here, Tova, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us today. Sorry about all the technical difficulties at the beginning. Oh, Phoenix said earlier there was a weird noise. Let me know if there still is a weird noise. I mean, there shouldn't. I don't hear anything now. Nobody is home at my house, so if you hear something weird, let me know again. Yeah, I can't hear anything. James Ross asks if there's any update with my kid's brain project. Um, so the last thing that happened with that project was I had a video call with Alex Castillo, and he works with brain computer interfaces and JavaScript, and he does presentations on it at different conferences. He used to work at Netflix, and he has his own company now that is focusing on the brain computer interfaces. So he was working on making the link. So we did some testing to try to get the brain computer interface connected via Bluetooth directly to a website, right through the browser, and we were successful at getting that to work. I did send him some test data, so he was going to try to work with that to get a link so that the data can be readable. So I have no idea how long that's going to take. In the meantime, I can probably start working on like the front end of it and just basically like mocking data. So I'm hoping to get started on that soon. It's, I mean, it's there's just always things going on. You know, there's always things to do. So hopefully I'll get to that. It is kind of high on my list. So I will update you all as we go on. John Soto says, question, why not use scroll into view? We could use that since we are already using this package to track the scroll. I'm just using the tools that are available there to do the scrolling. So I think this is a case where there's a lot of different ways to do this, and I don't know if this way is the best way, but so far it seems to be working. John Soto, if there's any particular reason why you think scroll into view would actually be the better way to go, please let me know, because I'm definitely interested in doing this, you know, the best way I can. John Hansen says, bringing over a pre-made React package can be great, though I find that you have to put trust in the dev of that package. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think that's an issue I think everybody deals with now. There are very few like large-scale projects where everything's built from scratch. I mean, like anybody using React for a project is trusting the devs behind React. It's just I don't know. That's just the way web development is now. For better or for worse, we're all able to build really cool things and build on what everyone else is working on. And it's really awesome. It's great collaboration, but at the same time, yeah, it does require that trust. So I guess it is a good idea to at least look at the package a bit, look at the GitHub repo, see some of the issues. What have people said about it? How many people are actually using it? Um, see basically if there's anything that just looks weird in terms of, does nobody use this? Maybe there's a reason why nobody uses it. Are there a ton of issues that never get closed? That's probably a warning sign too. So at the end of the day, though, you're right. You have to trust that the people that made the package did a good job, and definitely make sure to test things out on your own, and not just trust that it's always going to work. Okay, let me start this, and let's go. Oh, okay, I broke everything. So let's check that out first and see why it's broken now. Probably because I've messed up the width. Uh, Shoot. This just seems. All right, let me. I think that maybe the float right is what's doing it. Sweet. All right, while I'm waiting for that to reload, I'm just gonna go through. Okay, all right, that did work now. Um, some of the functionality we needed, I think we have all the functionality now. It scrolls with a page, but only when we want it to. You click a link, and it goes to the right section. Oh, we're still missing that change in when we have that active class. So that was something that was working before I started the stream. So something that I've done since then has changed it. Um, so that plus this positioning is what we need to fix. All right, let me. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna try one more time just to see like what's going on? Is this always going to happen? And it looks like it is. Okay. Ooh, nice. All right, cool. It worked this time. All right, excellent. At some point, we may not get to it on this stream, but we'll definitely want to make sure that that side navigation goes away. We don't really have room for it on a smaller screen. All right. All right, cool. All right, so now that's sorted, and I need to figure out why the active class is not being applied here. So let me inspect this so we can see if it's being applied. Let's see. So it should be on this, on the li. I think it'll be applied here on the A tag. Okay, yeah, so it is being applied. It's just the CSS that needs to change. Okay. And that makes sense because the styles are actually on the LI right now. Okay. Oops. All right, let's check it out. It'd be nice if I could get the class to apply here, but I don't think it's going to work like that. Niki just said it looks like masonry is just being a bit slow on this machine. Yeah, I think you're right. It's just this machine just can't handle streaming very well. John said, looks like this coding session has been conquered. Almost. We're close. We're really close. Okay, so if I... Alright, let me ask this. Is there a way in CSS to where I could change the style of a parent if the child has a certain class added? I don't know if that's even possible. Let's go to Google. Man, I know you can do it on what is it? Like hover and stuff like that. All right, John's saying that styled components would work really well here because we could just switch the attribute name with JavaScript. Actually, let me to look at this from a different perspective here. So I want to try two things. One is Niki's idea, and it's what if we move the link component outside the LIs? We'll try that first. That seems to be the most straightforward thing. If it works, then great, we're done. If that doesn't work, then what I want to do is let's move the styles onto the A tags and see if we can get a similar effect by putting the styles on the A tag. Whoa, Niki, there's a parent selector? No way. How did I not know about that? Oh, wait a second. Is there really a parent selector, or is that just a suggestion from CSS Tricks? Alright, I'm looking it up right now on Can I Use on the other screen. Alright, I don't think that's it. I think I found the. Johnny says yes, there is a parent selector. Alright, well, let's try it then. Seems like it's not, but a lot of people want it. Yeah, I want it. Alright, let's try moving this around. This is gonna be really weird. I don't know if this will work. I'm just gonna try it with one just to save time. Did it refresh yet? I don't think it did. Let me refresh. Okay, John says the parent selector will be out in CSS4. Alright, so I guess I can't use it yet. Hmm. Oh, you know what? I didn't. The CSS is still not right. So it did work in, that we now have an li inside of this a tag, which actually that's weird, but it works. So we need to have li. So you need to have a active li. There we go. Okay. That looks like it will work. So, really wish I didn't have to reload this again, but I do. It's just so slow. I'll check my time while we're waiting. Alright, about 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes is more than enough to fix this problem. Hopefully. Alright, I'm checking out the live chat while I'm waiting for that to load. Niki says, disclaimer, I've never actually used position sticky, just a possible answer for the problem. You should do what you want. Good to know, thanks for that. There's also the CSS Tricks article on something is also a great resource. I go to that when MDN starts to confuse me, which is often. Oh, okay, that is good. CSS Tricks is pretty good. All right, cool. Check that out. So we have, when we're not on that area, we don't have that little border, and now when we scroll to it, hey, there's that little border. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Nice. Really cool. All right, I like that. I'm thinking maybe the colors could be different. We're not really using that yellow color in this site, so we may want to change that. Um, may or may not want to use the gold color for this. Maybe we'll go with might want to go with regular color text with gold on the side. Um, Green text with gold on the side. I mean, there's a lot of combinations, so I'm probably not going to get into that for this stream. I mean, it's pretty basic, just changing hex colors on text here. Um, yeah. All right. Very cool. So what I do need to do though is go back in and make sure I change the markup for that second link as well. So that was, I believe, Niki's idea to put the li inside of the link tag, and that was a great idea. Honestly, I thought it would not work, but it was such a straightforward change that it was definitely worth the try, and it turned out that it did work. For some reason, my auto formatting is not correcting this mess that I just made. Um, Probably when I go to commit, it'll get corrected, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I do want to wait for the refresh just to make sure it's working. And I don't think it'll work go down here because the page isn't long enough. I can't actually scroll into the section, so I won't be able to test that out. But let's see if we can see. Yeah, it won't work right now. So if I add some like demo content to this section, we could see if it'll work. But I'm pretty confident that it will. I tested it out earlier with some different stuff, and I was getting a change in the classes for each section. And we can see like the LIs here, so these look the same now. All right, let's save that, and let's do a git status. Why is my Chrome bouncing? What does it want to tell me? I don't know. Let's do commit now. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, cool. I think there's some Lodash stuff we can get rid of, like the for each, I believe, in the map values. You know, we can for sure get rid of the for each, but I do want to double check about map values. So maybe I'll wait and double check that later on before I just get rid of it. But for now, we can do a git add, and then we'll run through our yarn. So we're going to add a feature, and this will be add completed page. Alright, I added the word completed in there because I think I may have made a commit already that said we added this when we had just added some of it and it didn't work yet. So while that goes through all the tests and everything, I'm going to go over to the live chat and start answering some questions. So let me scroll up to where I left off. Devin says you should listen to everything, spring, summer, winter, dread while you work on this. I'll have to. All right, I'll have to look that up. I don't think I've heard that. Nikki said, "Is it bigger than 16 pixels on Windows?" I think that's talking about the scroll bar. Devin says, "IE scroll bar. Thought we were dropping support." Yeah, Windows IE for sure has a big scroll bar, but I think on Windows in general, every browser has a big scroll bar. It's been a while since I've used Windows, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think the last time I tested on Windows, which is probably the last time we launched something new, I think there were large scroll bars, even on Chrome. Devin says, will this even be usable on IE? Can you just target IE and show a subnav for spring, summer at the top? Yeah, we'll see. I'm not even going to try to make it 100% usable on IE. I mean, like, think about it. This is like one page on an entire site that's going to have thousands of pages, most likely. I'm okay if one menu looks a little bit weird. it would be cool to see what it falls back to. I am interested in trying it on Internet Explorer just to see what happens. There's got to be some like fallback position. Does it fall back to fixed? In that case, it'll still work. It'll just look weird um, when it's in the hero section. Devin says mixing top and margin right seems weird to me. Yeah, it definitely is weird. There's some weirdness going on with the styles and markup for this component. So I think had I made it from scratch instead of importing a little bit from previous projects, I maybe wouldn't have done it like that. But this works. So I'm definitely. I'm pretty sure that there's probably a better way to do it. It probably wouldn't look different to the user, and it probably wouldn't result. Oh, I guess I tried to save that web page. All right, that's why Chrome was bouncing. Yeah, so I don't know that it would be worthwhile for me to really worry about that at this point. So, I mean, just to be clear, I think writing good code and writing the best solutions is important, but you don't always have time for that. Like, I don't think I could make sure all this code is as close to perfect as possible and still get it launched on time. So, what we have to settle for then is does it work and is the code at least reasonable? Um, and that's my experience. With actually working on projects with deadlines and things, is that you just have to do it sometimes. So, but anyway, I entirely agree that setting the margin works. But the reason we had to do that obviously was because of the float, right? So um, we need that offset for the ScrollSpy. So you can see that come into play. So we need that top value for the for the sticky. So like you can see that come into play of this 50 pixels down. But then we also need the margin, since we decided to use the float, which is pretty weird to use with top as well. That's why we needed that margin. So definitely weird, but it gets the job done. And I think, yay, it went through everything. So I also fixed the tests. I remember yesterday I was saying that the tests were like taking forever. So I believe it was Niki that found the commit where I broke everything, and so I was able to go back and change everything. At some point, I made a commit that reverted to an older version of the package.json file. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but it was about 5 days ago. And so all this past week, the tests have been acting weird. That was why. So now it's all worked out. We have our tests back, and they run quickly. So I'm going to run a git push to make sure that is on GitHub. So y'all can check that out if you'd like. Link to the GitHub repo is in the description. Frankie asks if I'm feeling better today. Oh, thanks for asking, Frankie. This morning I felt good, but then after a couple hours, my energy was just gone. And I was actually felt so good this morning. I was thinking about working out. I ended up not and just started work like right away. I did have to take the kids to school, so I got the kids ready and I took them to school. And I don't know. I still might work out. I'm thinking about it. I just don't want to go. I don't feel 100%, but I don't want to go too long without a workout because I know, like, with my depression, if I go too long without working out, I'll get depressed. So even though my legs are still sore from my last workout that was 2 days ago, it would be better for my mental health, I think, if I just do it. So hopefully I'll do it. and But I think this antibiotic that I'm on is starting to help. The congestion is almost completely gone. So I'm glad it seems like it's working, because I've had this on and off. I don't know what it is, some type of virus or something. I don't know, on and off for, it seems like, months. Who knows how long it really was, but it just seems like it's been so long. Um, but anyway, I appreciate you asking. Thank you. Oh, John says try out right 18 pixels. All right, I'll try that. I'm not going to try it right now. I want to test first. I think it looks okay with 16, but I'm not opposed to bumping out a bit more if we need to, especially for people using Windows. Nikki says, I also thought it wouldn't work, so flipping the LIs and the link tags so that the LI's inside the link. So he's saying, thought that wouldn't work. What are the implications of not having the UL-LI structure, but a UL-A structure? I tell you the truth, I don't know, but we may want to think about that. I think visually there's not going to be any implications, but for screen readers there might be. Maybe I'll have to look at that. I'm wondering. Yeah, I mean, based on the position and the markup, that's actually a really good position, I think, for screen readers, because it's like a sub menu that comes in there. We'll have to see. I mean, maybe I might just have to try out just the basic screen reader that comes like on a Mac and see what it says when it gets to that point. I mean, they'll still show up as link tags, so a user would know that it's a link. I wonder how misleading anchor tags are for screen readers, right? Because if they show up as a link, would a screen reader just describe it as a link like to another page? When it's really not. It's just a link to a different spot in the same page. And like, what happens when that jump happens? Does the screen reader also jump down? I'm getting kind of off topic here, but that's really interesting. I just don't know. Is doing that, is jumping to a different section in the same page even a good idea for accessibility? I don't know. I need to learn more about that. There's like a whole world of, making your website more accessible that, I just don't know enough about. John's pretty sure that LI is not needed on UL. Also says Chrome used to have an experimental flag to make a skinny scroll bar that shows wider when hovered. Not smart to develop with that flag on. Yeah, well, I mean, I could see it would be easier to actually click a wider scroll bar to scroll up and down, but I don't know. I think that would be annoying for trying to develop stuff with that. I mean, you're basically changing the width, the window width on hover. That's not. I mean, it's only a couple pixels that, depending on where your breakpoints are, that could totally like make your whole layout reflow just on hover. Oh, okay. Nikki said, I do have something in my package JSON, so I have a jest key that I need to remove. but also says it's not a huge deal since it's not used now. Okay, so it's not hurting anything then to be there, so I'll remove it at some point, I guess. Uh, yeah, thanks for letting me know about that, though. That saved me so much time. Earlier when you showed the commit where all that changed. Arthur says, "Hey Jesse, I'm learning front-end development. My problem is that I switch between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as priorities. I try to create a small JavaScript project, but stop at designing. But again, uh, I get sleepy while learning HTML, CSS, all that best practices and cool stuff." Yeah, I guess in terms of priorities, I mean, you need to know all of it. I mean, I focus depending on what you want to do. I mean, I would focus more on JavaScript. You will pick up your HTML and CSS more along the way. Those to me seem to be more simple, especially HTML. There's some tricky things to CSS if you really want to get into it. There are some people doing really complex things with CSS and really cool things. But for most of us, we don't need to be at that level for a lot of the sites that we make. So you're probably better off focusing on your JavaScript, and then instead of getting like bogged down in the styles, just use a framework like Bootstrap or Materialize, or if you're doing React, you could use Material UI or whatever other framework. That way, you won't get as distracted by the styles and the UI because so much of it is done for you. And then maybe you could maybe possibly set a rule for yourself that you get the site build and all the functionality done first before you style. And then that way, maybe you won't get, stuck in that section. So I'm not 100% sure that that's your issue, but sometimes that helps me just not get too caught up in designing first, because you could end up designing for elements and features that don't even make it into your site, and then it ends up being a waste of time. I mean, you always learn from it, but would take up a lot of your time that could otherwise be used to add more functionality to your project, or do more testing and things. So um, hopefully that helps. All right, that's it for the live chat, and we basically accomplished what we set out to, which is awesome. So I was a little bit bold, and I wrote in the description to the video. It was either in the description of the video or in my tweet about it. I wrote that I will be completing this ScrollSpy nav today. So when I wrote it, I thought like, what if I don't complete it? I'm gonna feel silly, but we did. We completed it, so that's pretty cool. Okay, Arthur has some follow up here. I read a lot of articles, watch courses, and sometimes don't create a single project. Yeah, I like design and want my projects to look good. I struggle mostly with layouts and responsive. Yeah, Arthur, definitely check out some of the frameworks that I mentioned, because it'll take care a lot of the responsiveness. I mean, it's good to know how that works in writing media queries and things, but it's the type of thing that you really only want to do from scratch once, and then either copy what you did for other projects or use a framework, because it can be tedious, and I think unnecessarily tedious. I don't think there's a lot of value in recreating a whole layout system every single time, unless you're doing something really experimental. Then it's better off just to use something pre-made in that case, something thoroughly tested. Yeah, and make sure really try to do projects. I mean, I get into the same thing sometimes where I read a lot of stuff, I watch courses and things like that, but try to make sure that you're also working on projects. Maybe split up your time to say like, okay, I'm going to spend this much time each day working on a project. Even if I don't get anywhere, like I'm going to give it a good try. And then you can go to your other resources, because it's important to actually be building as well. All right, Arthur says, thanks for answering. You're welcome. Arthur says, I have that bad feeling. Do it from zero. Yeah, don't worry. Nobody does it from zero. Don't worry about that. I used to feel the same way, especially when I was learning. Like, I got to do it all from scratch. But nobody does it from scratch. Like we were talking about earlier in the stream, like if you're building a React project, how much work has already been done by the React team at Facebook? Like so much work. There's no such thing as from scratch for a React developer. Um, there's in so many things. It's not just React. If you're using Angular, if you're using Vue, if you're using any type of testing, framework, whatever. Even if you're just using some boilerplate HTML code, like unless you wrote it yourself and are copying it from a former project, like still. So I mean, we all build on what others have done, and that's I think a good thing. So don't worry too much about that. As long as you can produce good work, um, you know, I'd say it's totally fine to rely on you rely somewhat on the work of others. And Frankie says, "Thanks, Sensei." You're welcome. I think it's so fun that you call me Sensei. um, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream now. I've definitely put in more than my normal amount of time working today, and my kids are home from school. Um, so I'm gonna see them and hopefully get a workout in. I should be back tomorrow. I will be in the office tomorrow. We have like some sort of drill for in case there's some emergency on campus, and it's in the afternoon. So I'm gonna try not to stream during the time when we're supposed to have the drill, because I don't want to have to leave my office in the middle of a stream. So I'm thinking maybe a stream early in the day. So early in the day Eastern time. So just as a heads up to you all. Um, yeah. So anyway, thanks everyone. Especially thanks for all your help. Definitely went faster, because of all that help, and I appreciate all the positivity that you all have, not just today but all the time. And until tomorrow, have a wonderful day.